Okay guys, for your homework tonight, you're going to be creating a bar graph. Tried to keep it within the season. It's a bar graph about scary costumes. So let's look at some of the rules. The first rule is give your graph a title. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call it Halloween Night. And then it says, so I'm going to check that off because I completed that step. Label the x-axis with the independent variable. So it looks like the x-axis is going to be all these costumes. So we're going to label that down here. And as I do it, I'm going to check it off. Then it says the x-axis should have a set of categories that should be equally spaced apart. So let's see. It looks like I have Frankenstein, mummy, skeleton, Dracula, Wolfman. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 5 different categories. So I'm going to try to space those out, the 5 different categories. So writing in Frankenstein. That's pretty long. Mummy. Skeleton, Dracula, and Wolfman's going to go last. Okay, so now I did that part, and I'm going to check that off up here. It says label the y-axis with the dependent variable. Now the dependent is the scared people. So I'm going to put that in as my label, and I'm going to title that on the y-axis. Then I need to make a scaled mark. The values of the dependent variable, and the numbers must be in a pattern. So a pattern could be ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It could be 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. It could be 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. It could be 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I think somebody in class said that they would use 20s for a different graph. That's pretty easy to use, but so are 100s. Let's see some of the numbers that we have. We have the number 50. We have the number 25, so we're definitely going small, 75, 60, and 100. So it looks like this is a pretty long scale. I'm just going to try 10s first. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Well, that gets me up to here, but it doesn't get me all the way to the top of the graph. So I'm just going to try something else. Let's try 5s. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 would get me to that point. 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. That works the best. I'm using the entire grid. And when I use the entire grid, that means the graph is going to be the easiest to see. And you want to title each little line so that that line represents 5 people for this matter, 5 scared people. And if there was a number in between, 55, 60, sorry. And if you make an error, you can erase. I always suggest doing it in pencil. 80, 85, 90, 95. And if we had a number in between, we could estimate in between. So I did that step, and we have one more step to go. For each independent variable, draw a solid bar to show the height of the corresponding y value. So let's see. Frankenstein scared 50 people. So I'm going to take Frankenstein, And I'm going to bring it up. And I'm just going to shade it in for Frankenstein. Next is Mummy. Mummy's scared 25. Oh, here's that situation. Oh, no, it's going to be right on the line. It's not going to be an estimate. So I'm going to just shade it in. Next, I'm going to do Skeleton. Skeleton is, whoops, I went out of order here. I guess I should have put Dracula first, but it doesn't matter. Skeleton scared 60 people, so I want to bring it up to the line that says 60. And sometimes it gets a little tricky, so you want to make sure you follow across and shade it in because it's a bar graph. Dracula, I have to go back a little bit, scared 75. So I'm going to bring it up to the 75 line. Whoops. Went a little off key there, but that's okay. Doesn't need to be perfect. And then finally, Wolfman scared 100. Well, Mrs. Bond did not do this perfectly. I probably should have, if you look at the full graph, I should have put Mummy a little bit further and Frankenstein 1 over and Mummy 2 over. So then I would have had enough space for Wolfman. But this is still correct. You can read it easily. It's a good visual. And you can answer questions about it pretty easily. For example, what costume was the most scary? And you would look at this and you could easily see that this is the tallest bar. So this is the most scary costume. And that's Wolfman, which is pretty scary. And then you could say, what is the least scary costume? And the least scary costume would be Mummy, because the bar graph is the smallest. So this is your bar graph for homework that's due on Thursday.